we talked about Eric Holder getting sentenced to 60 to life, and we were trying to determine what his release date would be, at least his eligibility release date. And I just basically calculated 85%, came up with 51 years. He has 4 years credit, and I came up with the year 2070. And it turns out that now that he hit the CDC publishes your eligibility date, and they have him down as eligible for parole in 2039. So that's really just 20 years after the incident. He shot and killed Nipsey in 2019, and he's eligible for parole in 2039, just 20 years. And I'm a little confused because I know that on a violent crime in the state of California, you got to do 85%, but apparently they're letting him be eligible after just 20 years. You know anything about why such a short term before he's eligible for parole?
I don't. That's not even 50%.
Nah, I think I calculated like less than 40% he's eligible for parole.
Right. No, I'm unclear on that. It's nothing for me to say. I'm unclear on that, Alex. I don't know.
I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed to find out he's eligible for parole in 2039, just 20 years later. A lot of people were happy he got that 60 that were Nipsey fans, but I'm here to tell y'all that he's eligible for parole in what's that from now? 16, let's see, 23, 3, 9 minus 3, 16. It looks like about 16 years from now, right? What's 2039? 2039, 39 minus 23, that's 16. He's eligible for parole in 16 years, y'all, based on the CDC.
Wow. It could change though, Alex. Sometimes you get to reception, and the reception may not have certain paperwork. It could change. Could just be a flaw in the system, or somebody typed something in wrong. But yeah, that's why we're going to keep an eye on that just to see if it do change, or if we hear anything about why it's like that.
Well, he just hit reception about a week ago. And he is in what's commonly referred to as Delano. I'm sure you've heard about Delano.
Yeah.
You've hit reception a couple times in the state back in the day. Technically, that prison is called North Kern State Prison, and he's supposed to be there for 90 days. Can you just give the listeners a brief little understanding of what reception is all about?
Reception is basically a processing center. They're going to get him in. It's still prison, and it's still a prison. That prison have other yards. I got a little homie up there on another yard up there in Delano. But what's going to happen is, he's not going to have a full range of being able to move around. He's not going to be out on the yard with, the general population, just based on that's not what reception is for. It's basically a classification situation where they're going to classify you, go over all your medical, go over your background, and determine what prison do they want to send you to. His situation, he may have something in his file where they may take extra precaution on where they send him to. He may not. But at the same time, like I say, reception is just classification to see what prison you're going to land at to start doing your time.
And even though it's reception, like you said, it's still prison, and anything can go up at reception, right? Do they have like I'm assuming they probably got some PC sections for reception and general population sections for reception.
Now, see, that's the difference of nowadays of going to prison. They didn't have the PC sections like they do now. I'm sure they had places where they put certain individuals, but now it's mass PC yards. When I came through reception, I came through Tehachapi, and Tehachapi was a no-nonsense prison back then in the 90s. I did I went to the 4 yard, to the 4B gym, where they housed us at. We didn't get to function with the inmates on the 4 yard like that. I mean, I saw Bolo in the kitchen, OG Bolo from Bonnie Hunters in the kitchen. I ran into the big homie Sonny Roo from AM. So it was some contact, but it was limited, and it wasn't until I got to the 3 yard at Tehachapi is where you got to see the full prison experience, and but at the same time in reception, it can go down. It's not going to go down to the physicality of the inmates living on the 4 yard, but at any time you got some inmates in any situation, it can move.
Do you recall if it actually took the whole 90 days for you to get classified when you were there back in the day?
It didn't. It took me probably about 35 days. I was there about 35 days before they moved me around. So it don't necessarily take 90 days. I believe it can take up to 90 days. And I have seen homies in there 90 days, 100 days before they were moved. Being that, California prisons are so crowded and overpopulated, I think the wheels are moving a little slower. In his situation, though, they may, because his situation is a high profile one, they may choose to kind of expedite his movement to go and get him on the yard so they don't got to worry about it. But then again, they might just treat him like a regular dude, don't give a shit who he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the way they're supposed to do it. But I understand they got them high profiles. I remember hearing about Charles Manson when he was in there. They had him under heavy protection everywhere he went. You couldn't touch Charles Manson even if you wanted to. But I don't know. You think they might give Eric Holder that same treatment?
No, but I don't think they going to not understand, who he is. I believe it's something in his file that's going to say that he may be a wanted man in prison. Maybe some kind of red flag to say, this guy right here needs some, not extra protection, but an extra understanding of, it could go up with this dude at any moment, and those things are in place, so they could definitely, have him over there in Delano. Like I say, he's already not functioning with everybody because they don't move like that in reception. But at the same time, somebody got action at him. Prison is too big, and they don't have the means to just babysit you like that. So he's definitely going to be in some form of a population, whether it's a PC pop or a gym pop. But he's definitely going to be around some other inmates.
Now, the CDC in recent years has claimed that they're taking mental illness into serious consideration. And during his sentencing, the defense was able to document like years and years of mental illness and treatment and 5150 holds. I know when you was in prison, or maybe I'm wrong, did they even consider some of the inmates that had mental health issues the way they're claiming that they're considering them today?
Unless you had a super serious, and I mean serious case of mental illness where you just really wasn't there, they took that into consideration. But just like, when I played Pop Warner football, there wasn't a such thing as concussions, and it was the same thing in the PM, man. There wasn't no such thing as mental illness. They felt like everybody in this thing was crazy, man. When I go back and look, it's really some dudes that really should have been on another yard or in a different situation because of their mental illness, but they just didn't classify it like that then. At the same time, this dude could be classified with a mental illness, but we all know that he can function properly. You know what I mean? After I seen him take a bite of them fries after right before he went to go gun down Nip, this dude thinks, he can think clearly. You know what I mean? So he's not going to be in no severe situation where they have to classify him as a mental patient, and if they did, send him up to one of them facilities like Vacaville or somewhere where they house these like serious mental dudes. I think he'd probably go crazy just even being up there with them guys because they really have issues. Other than that, man, like I said, he gonna land somewhere where all the other motherfuckers in his temperament is. He ain't gonna get no special treatment, man.
Wait up! I can't believe you said the way he bit those chili cheese fries.
Yeah, man.
You're diminishing the level of mental illness that he has based on his demeanor walking through that alley before he shot Nipsey.
No doubt, bro.
Why so?
Hey, man, it just shows you a level of calm, coolness, collectiveness. See, one thing when I watch a crime or watch something on TV or watch it unfold in real life, I pay attention to the small details. I pay attention to because some dudes really do things out of adrenaline. Some guys really be scared and they get the job done, but you could tell they were scared, they nervous, this dude was thinking clearly, you know what I mean? And nothing about him showed me that he couldn't understand, man. And like I say, his brain told him, go put in his work, and his stomach told him, man, let's eat a little more, man. Let's get a couple more bites. And so, even just with that, man, like I say, that did something for me. I say, this boy a cold rider. This boy a killer right here, man,
Okay, but let me flip it around. I think that if you're about to put in some work and you're about to do your thing, you should be nervous naturally. If you do it as calm and as collected as Eric Holder actually did, maybe that is evidence of of severe mental illness. Like you said, this dude was enjoying the last bites of his meal before he was about to bust 2 straps into one of the most famous LA rappers. I think 90% of the people that would go on a mission like that would naturally be nervous. He wasn't at all. He wasn't at all.
I can feel you, but I look at it different. You know what I mean? I look at everybody else would have been nervous in them riders, homie, that knowing what they finna go accomplish, knowing that they've done this before, you know, I mean, like I say, I don't know the dude personally, so I don't want to accuse him of anything, but just from me looking in, I would definitely say this wasn't his first rodeo. This wasn't his first time popping his pistol. You know what I mean? So, and he could, you know, like I say, and he had a full understanding of what was going on. Maybe the last time he shot somebody, he didn't get to eat before, so he was hungry afterwards while he went to go lay low. So this time he was like, I'm not going to be hungry after I shoot this dude, you know. So it showed me a different level about him, you know, that I, you know, saw in him, you know. So that's how I got it.
Yeah, I think that footage of him walking through the alley right before he's going to shoot Nipsey is very unique, because very rarely do we see a guy like, you know, minutes before he's about to do something and get to see his demeanor and his body language. And in this case, actually got to show you exactly all his body language. And I guess if you're reading that in a certain kind of way, yeah, you can come to these type of conclusions. But I feel what you're saying. I guess if you're a rider, that's the way you're supposed to do it, right?
Hey, I mean, to be honest with you, I hated it was Nip, but at the same time, man, just from, you know, a gangster perspective, you know, he done had no hitch in his giddy up, man, you know, so he gonna be, you know, I don't think the mental role is gonna play for the CDC.
See, I remember Jay Stone from Fruittown, Piru, talking about when he went to prison for a shooting he did in Compton with one of his comrades from the same set. He said that dude froze up when they went to go do their thing, and he looked at him and he was like surprised. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm sure a lot of dudes freeze up. I'm sure a lot of dudes lock up, you know. And I think that nervousness you have before you're about to pull the trigger, to me, is a natural response.
No doubt. I mean, I'm seeing it personally, Alex, you know, and you know, but I also had to go let the homie know that, you know, I'm talking about even in self-defense mode, you know, somebody come through, ride on you, get ready to bust on you, and the homie got the strap and he need to bust back, you know what I mean? And I've seen homies freeze. I've seen them, you know, pause. I've seen them, you know, didn't perform the way they should have, you know, and I always was the one who doubled back while I was, you know, it's always going to be homies clown you and talk shit about the dude, you know what I mean? I'm going to go double back and homie, I understand, you know what I mean? This shit is unnormal, you know what I mean? So at the same time, you know, give a dude, you know, don't send him home, you know, beating himself up or, you know, nothing like that. Just understand, man, that this shit is not normal, bro. You know what I mean? So I've seen it on multiple occasions where dudes freeze up. And so you're absolutely right. A lot of motherfuckers will. Everybody ain't, you know, they think they ready and they not. But this is something that you shouldn't be fucking ready for, you know?
Well, I think that also, as you stated, that it looked like this wasn't his first rodeo. So the more you do it, if the second, the third, and fourth time, it probably becomes a little bit easier. You get a little bit more comfortable. Then butterflies in your stomach probably aren't as aggressive. So perhaps, depending on if this is your first time ever having to put in some work, that might determine your level of nervousness.
Right. And I'm gonna go beyond and say, yo, not your first time. I'm gonna say your 10th time, you know, because it comes with anything you do, you know, dangerous, whether it's skydiving, whether it's, you know, popping a wheelie on the dirt bike or, you know, something like that. The first few times you do it, you're gonna be nervous. It takes a while for you to do anything that's crazy, you know, and it could be crazy legally, like I say, skydiving or, you know, something like that, or, you know, it's not going to be the first 1 or 2 or 3 times that you're not going to be nervous. This is something that comes with skill, you know, just like everything else, you know. So I'm not going to buy the 1 or 2 times, you know. I made a mistake and tried to, in my case, tell the judge, you know, that like this was kind of like my first rodeo with the drug game, and that's where I messed up, you know, because you don't realize what you telling these people, you know what I mean. That she checked my ass on that shit too, you know what I mean. But they know. No, she wasn't buying it at all, man. But I never had a drug case ever in my life, so I'm thinking I was gonna try to play the role like, you know, I'm new to this and shit. She beg if you don't get up out of here with that bullshit. But yeah, so it takes multiple My whole point was to take multiple times in order to get that comfortable, you know.
Well, I definitely believe in the mental illness of Eric Holder. I listened to all these diagnoses. I listened to the father's letter. He had electrotherapy on his brain. He's been through a whole lot of different mental facilities over the years. So I wonder if that even has an impact on why he's got a 2039 release date. But hey, y'all, he's going to be eligible for parole in 16 years.